does non-existence exist?
No.
No? Okay, so there's no such thing as non-existence. And so much for his dichotomy. So, how did all this begin? Oh, that's a very good question, isn't it? This actually began many months ago with a fellow that would drop in on occasion. His name was Cerberus, and he was kind of antagonistic, atheist, anti-theist, and I invited him up to talk. I didn't mind talking, but, he would want to get ridiculous and come up with these funny scenarios and just insist that I play his game. And when I wouldn't, he would get offended, and I eventually had to block the fella. But then I saw him again on JG's channel, and he wanted to speak to me, and he said that he had a dichotomy that he wanted to put before me. And the dichotomy, he said, was that he wanted to speak on regarding existence versus non-existence. He said that this was a dichotomy. Now, why he was bringing up this particular dichotomy, this particular claim of a dichotomy, I have no idea. But when he put it and couched it in terms like that, I disagreed that there was a dichotomy there. I think he's assuming to know way too much. I'm not convinced that that's a dichotomy. And when I approached him on that, he just seemed to take offense to that and acted like I was stupid without hearing me out. So anyway, he brought this up again on JG's channel about a dichotomy. So anyway, I see Will Freeman and company going over this particular little thing here.
Well, that there isn't a third
to what
option.
question? Well, you see,
and when I was trying to explain to him what a dichotomy was,
we probably had a disagreement as to whether or not this is a dichotomy.
I don't know what's wrong. And then he hit me. So that's why I was asking you to tell him.
So why don't you just refresh us all what this whole thing was about?
But it was existence and non-existence.
Oh yeah.
Would you say those are two dichotomies?
What?
I'm talking to Jay. I'm asking him if he thinks.
Oh, I've got to think about that a little bit more because I was talking a little bit about that to Peter, and I think it's a matter of it might be a matter of semantics going on there.
I have to think about it.
I've got to think about it some more.
I have to think about if A and not A.
It takes a second. It's just. He was talking to Peter about it. This has been a big discussion they've had. It's been an ongoing, they're digging into the heart of the matter, I think.
Oh, wow.
I think that you've got an interesting little power chart going on there, but I never really explored it further from that episode. I popped on there with you and Jill that day, actually. And
okay. I got just a fault. Would you say that in general, an easy way to make a dichotomy is to take something, anything, and having that be one side, and then putting non in front of it and have that be the other side, like orange and non-orange? Okay.
Typically, but when you take all of existence, I think you might have a different problem, but I've got to think about it some more.
You see, you're assuming that you know everything that there is to know.
Wait.
Is that my problem?
I have a
That's your
question
problem.
Okay.
You're making the assumption that you...
Yeah, you go first, Space.
Well, okay, so if you say everything that's not something, like, doesn't that include everything that isn't that something, not just its opposite?
Yeah, it's literally everything that isn't it.
But on
everything that isn't something its opposite?
No, like if you take the color orange, or like let's just say the fruit orange.
Okay.
Right. So you have the category, the fruit orange, and then you have not the fruit orange.
Right.
You're going to have the color orange in there. You're going to have apples in there. You're going to have the works of Shakespeare in there. The stars and the moon. Everything else is going to be in the other category because everything else isn't the orange.
Right. So we're just dealing with categories of something and then the not something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, existence is the most basic dichotomy. It's binary. It's like 1 versus 0, right? That's computer programming. 1 exists, 0 is not there. So
I mean,
if you
sort of,
disagree
but
that's about
is zero really a state of being, though? Or is it the complete
Well,
absence
In,
of...
in the binary.
Yeah, it's
yeah,
the absence.
it's a negation. Yeah, it's a not one.
Well, 1 and 0 in binary code is like basically turning the light switch on. That's 1. Turning it off. That's 0.
Yeah, the dichotomy in binary is something and nothing.
Right.
Yeah.
Which existence? That's the most primary dichotomy you could imagine, right? So if you don't think existence is a dichotomy, then
Would you like to try a chart?
So while they're sitting there trying to figure out what a dichotomy is, I popped on live, actually. I think it took them all by surprise. And I asked Cerberus right there in front of them, and he answered, by the way.
I'm here.
How are you guys? It's good meeting you. Some of you, I don't know you, but it's good meeting you. This is Eric, by the way.
You don't
We
say.
know.
You don't say
Serbius, I just want to ask you one question.
It's Cerberus.
Serbius.
Yes.
Like,
Does
everyone's
non-existence exist?
No.
No? Okay, so there's no such thing as non-existence. So first he says existence and non-existence are a dichotomy. And then he says non-existence doesn't exist. So which of the two are true? What I'll never get is the arrogance of man. To think that we know much of anything in this universe. We don't know anything when it comes to this universe. Everything that we believe about evolution, about the age of the universe, about the expansion, everything that we believe is all just a theory. It's all theoretical. Every bit of it. And the funny thing is, it doesn't even work out scientifically. None of it does. That's why when the Big Bang was failing because of, what was it, flatness in horizon, they had to add expansion theory to it. And then after they added expansion and that didn't work, they had to add string theory. And when that didn't work, they said, look, dark matter and dark energy fixes it all. But then they have to admit that it looks too much like God. Oh my gosh, it's this overwhelming force that's controlling the universe. It's invisible and omnipresent and expands it and holds it all into place at the same time. It sure sounds like God, doesn't it? But when that gets uncomfortable, you have to back off from that, don't you? My goodness. You pretend like you know what exists and what doesn't. I challenge you to name anything that doesn't exist, because the moment you do, it exists. And since time is only relative to the observer, that which is that which shall be, and that which shall be is that which already was, we know is true. The time is relative only to the observer, so anybody outside of time, like God for instance, can look at the end before the beginning even begins, and know what happens all the way through, and tell us the end from the beginning. So you don't know what's outside of time, Cerberus. You don't know what you've got here. You sure don't have a dichotomy. You claim to know everything there is to know, son. Get a little humility, brother. Get a little humility. Have a great day.